Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the part B of the forecasting technique. In the last class, I promised you that where your business or your sales is not seasonal, all right, there is no kind of trend into it, then you don't use the regression analysis. You use the technique or the method that is called the time series analysis, and today we are going to understand that how we actually use the time series analysis and what it is, right? So the forecasting technique, we have the time series analysis with us. So in the exam what you would be given, you would be given with this 1, 2, 3 and 4. These 4 columns would be given to you, and what you need to do, let me tell you first that what we have in these 4 columns, and then I'll tell you that what you need to do. So if I focus on the column A, let me use another color. If I talk about the column A, this column A is, presenting the year. The year column, it is 2021, 2022, 2023 and 2024, all right. And the column B, that is for the quarters. So for each year we have 4 quarters, right? Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on and so forth. We have 4 quarters of each year. So 4 years, 4 quarters, these we have 12, no, not 12, 16 rows with us. Then in column C, we have the sales unit. These are the units of sales which we have made or the company have made in each quarter. So in column C, we have the sales unit. All right. These all are the sales unit of each quarter that has been sold. All right. Then we have the moving average quarter. Now this is something that is tricky. That is, I would say, the backbone of this model is. If you would be able to understand this thing, believe me, you would understand the whole time series analysis. So the moving quarter average, how it is calculated. In exam, you would need to identify this, right? Because the moving quarter average, there is no rule of thumb to calculate it. What are you saying, sir? We are not able to understand this. Let me explain you that. Here in my example, if I talk about this 693.0, let me use the laser pen. 693.0, this is the moving quarter average for the quarter 3. This is for the quarter 3, and we do not have the average of first 2 quarters. We do not have the moving quarter average, right? So sir, the question arises that, sir, how you have calculated this? Because the sales figure, these are the factual data you would be given with it, but how you have calculated the moving quarter average? So the answer is that this is the something that you need to evaluate or find out in the exam by doing hit and trial. So how hit and trial? Let me show you that. You know how I have calculated this figure by using the, this is the sales unit of the same quarter. The quarter we are talking about, 2 quarters before, 2 quarters after, 2 quarters before, 2 quarters after. So I have added all the sales unit of these 5 quarters. All right, I have added the sales unit of these 5 quarters and divided them by 5 and divided them by 5. Stop the lecture, bring the calculator and check. You will see that the answer is 693. So I have used 5 quarters to calculate the moving quarter average. All right. But in exam, there could be the scenario that examiner might have used this same quarter, one before, one after. One quarter, maybe examiner would use 3 quarters. So that thing you need to check by doing the hit and try. And obviously, it will not take too much time. Like if you have a calculator or if you have any Excel spreadsheet, you can do it in within 15 to 20 seconds, and you would be able to know that okay, this examiner has taken 5 quarters or 3 quarters or 7 quarters, right? You would come to know. So this is the something that is tricky part of it. All right. So these all moving quarter average are calculated in a similar way. If I talk about this 668, check it from the calculator you have in your hand. This quarter, 2 before, 2 after. All right. So I have added them and divided them by 5. So I came up with the quarter of moving quarter average of the 668. And why is it moving quarter average? Because in this, quarters are moving. Now, in first we had these 5 quarters. Then we had these 5 quarters, 1, 2, 3, and yeah, 5 quarters. So that is how the moving quarter average, right? It shows you the quarter average that is moving throughout the period. All right. So that's this. So this is what would be given to you in the exam. All right. Number one, year column, quarter column, sales unit column, and the moving quarter average column. All right. And you need to actually explain this time series analysis. And to explain, you have to draft something. And I have drafted it already to show you how you will do this. So now we have this narration to the time series analysis that you need to write in the exam. How you would write it? So now we have understood that from column C here, column A, B, C, A, B, C, and D. These four columns, what is the purpose and what is happening in these columns, we know this. So in our narration, we would mention this thing, right? So the column A to D, column A to D. In column A to D, the moving quarter average of 5 quarters for each quarter of the year is given for the sales unit. We don't need to calculate it. It is already given. All right. So the moving quarter of each quarter of the year. All right, the moving quarter was not for only one quarter, it was calculated for all the quarters. All right, let me show you once again. See here, let me highlight it. This quarter, this, and all the quarters, the moving quarter average is calculated. So you just mention this thing simply that in column A to D, the moving quarter average for all the quarters of the year are calculated. All right, so far so good, so easy. Let's move ahead. Now stay focused. So now we have the column E that is called the average trend. We have the column E that is called the average trend. Now you need to think, or now you need to actually calculate how the average trend is calculated. Let me tell you that now you're talking about something average. You're talking about something average. So how you would calculate the average trend? Average trend is calculated by dividing this, let me remove or clear this, by dividing this moving quarter average, by 5. Sir, why 5? Because your moving quarter average is calculated by using 5 quarters. Since you use 5 quarters, so now while calculating the average trend, what you will do, you will divide D by 5. You will divide D by 5. Sir, in case if our moving quarter was calculated by using 3 quarters, then what would we do? Then you would divide the moving quarter by 3 to work out the average trend value. Alright. So now check on the calculator. Divide 693 by 5, you will get 138.6. Divide 667 by 5, you will get 133.4, and so on so forth. Though these all values are calculated by dividing the moving quarter average by 5, because moving quarter average was calculated using 5 quarters. So now come to the narration part. In the narration part, column E, we are talking about the average trend. We are talking about the average trend. So now what what is happening here? The average trend is calculated by dividing the moving quarter average with 5, as the moving quarter average is being calculated by using 5 quarter sales unit. Simple enough. Let's move forward one step ahead. Now we have the, let me clear this. Now we have the variation column. We have the variation column and how it is calculated, right? You should know, because these are the things you have to do, right? This from here to here, the rest of the thing you have to do, right? So variation, how the variation is calculated? The variation is calculated by finding out the differences of something. What something? So that's very easy. That the variation is calculated by these two columns, the average trend and the sales unit. The sales unit, these are the actual data. These are the actual data, and these are the average which we have just calculated. So now you will calculate the variation between the actual sales unit and the average sales unit. All right. So how you would calculate it? You would calculate it by dividing the sales unit by minus, by subtracting the sales unit and the average trend. How? Let me show you the formula. That you would divide C minus C, you would divide E from C. you would divide E from C. So see, check from the calculator. Divide minus 138 from 134, 138.6 from 134. So you will get minus 4.6. Check here. See this 0, 135, 135. So when you would minus 135 minus 135, you would get 0. 127 minus 138.2 minus 11. 141 minus 139.6, 1.4. So this is how you are going to calculate the variation value. So far are we clear? Let's go to the narration part. So in the narration part, if I show you column F, how it is calculated, it is the difference between the average trend and the actual sales unit of the quarter. Simple. Then sir, now we have, in exam, either you would be given the data of 1, 2, 3, 4 table, and the rest of the data you will have to make, or maybe in exam you would be given two tables. Sir, what two tables? Let me show you what two tables. These two tables, this complete from here to here, this is called table A, this is called table A or table 1, and this would be table 2. Maybe in exam you would be given these two tables, or maybe in exam you would be given only these 1, 2, 3 and 4 columns, and the rest of the data you will have to make. Sir, how? Okay. So far we have understood that how we will calculate average trend and the variation. Now let's move towards the variation or the average variation table. Leave it or pause this area analysis of variation, and we will come back after this table to this columns and we will discuss them. So sir, what about the average variation or the average variance? How this table is being constructed? That's very simple. See here, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. Here we have years 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. All right. So here in columns we have quarters. Here in rows we have the years. All right. So now you are going to place the or feed the variation values in all the respective cell. Let's see here, quarter 1 of 2021. All right, quarter 1 of 2021. So see, do we have the variation value of the quarter 1 of the 2021? No sir, we do not have, so leave it empty. Quarter 1 of 2022, quarter 1 of 2022. So 2022 quarter 1, what is the variation value? It's 0. Place 0 here. Then similarly, if I talk about quarter 4 of 2021. So quarter 4 of 2021, what is the variation value? Minus 8.4. See, minus 8.4. It's written here. Again, quarter 4 of 2021. So quarter 4 of 2021, quarter 4 of 2021, it's minus 8.4 and it's minus 8.4. So this is how you will feed all the values here in each of the cell. All right, and leave those cell empty where we do not have the value of the variation. So far is it okay? Now there are two more things in this table. Number one is the total. Sir, how total is calculated? It's very simple, that you will sum these values. You will sum these values. You will sum these values. All right, and you will sum these values. So you will get the total value. All right, this is the total value. And then you will have to calculate the average again. How you will calculate the value of the average? It's very simple. Let's see here in this quarter 1 table or the quarter 1 column, we have 1, we have 2, we have 3 values. So now you will divide 17.8 minus 17.8 by 3. By 3 you will get this average. Here we have 1, 2, 3. Again 3 values, divide 21 by 3. You will get 7 average. Here 1, 2, 3. Minus 1. Divide minus 1 by 3. You will get this average. And 1, 2, 3. Divide minus 11.4 by 3. You will get this average. Again, so the average will be calculated by dividing the total by n. N means the number of values by which the total is calculated. Clear? Now come to the narration point. In narration, we have the average variance table. See, the name of the table is average variance table. All right. So what we have written here, the column summarizes the variance for each quarter. You know, the columns, they are summarizing the variance for each column, each quarter. All right. That is simple. Each quarter's variance is written here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, so forth. Now, next what there is, the average variance of each quarter is also calculated. See here, now this average which you have calculated, this average is for each quarter. All right, this is for each of the quarter. This is again the average of the variation. All right. Now, see here, average variation, see, this was the variation, these are all variation, and we have calculated the average of variation. Again, you will not be required to explain this in the exam, but it is just that I am trying to explain you to make things easy for you. But in exam you would not need to tell the science behind them, you just have to say that what you have done or what it is done, just in the narration form. All right, the way we have done. Next, we have now these three final columns. So now see here, the total column, the column of the total, this total column, column I, this is actually the variation column. Copy and paste, this is the column F actually. See, 4.6, 8.4, 0, 11.4, 2.4. So these are the same values which we have copied here, and for them I have taken 0. All right, I have taken 0 because there is nil value. All right, so the total column, are we clear on it? Now, in this seasonal value, in this seasonal column, what you will put, you will actually put the averages which we have calculated here. The averages which we have calculated here, you will feed them. Like for example, if I say yeah, so now let me clear this. Yes, so here, now in the seasonal column, you will use these average values. You will use these average values. What they are? For quarter one, it was minus 5.9. To see, in all quarter one, see, this is the quarter one column. All right, minus 5.9. In again quarter one, minus 5.9. Quarter one, minus 5.9. Quarter two, 7. See here, quarter two, 7. All right, again quarter 2, it's 7. See, this is the quarter column. Let me remove and clear the chart for you so that you can see it properly. Again, see, this 7, this is the 7 value. Quarter 2, each quarter 2 we have 7. Quarter 2, 7. Quarter 2, 7. Similarly, in quarter 3, minus 3 point minus 0.33. So quarter 3 minus 0.33, quarter 3 minus 0.33, quarter 3 minus 0.33. See, this is how we have constructed it. See, quarter 3 minus 0.33. And for quarter 4, let me use the dark color. For the quarter 4, we have minus 5.7. Quarter 4 minus 5.7. Quarter 4 minus 5.7. Quarter 4 minus 5.7. All right. So this is how the seasonal column is calculated. All right. Now the thing which is the main answer of this time series analysis, that is the residual part. That is the residual column. That is column H. How it is calculated? How column H is calculated? Column H is calculated by, subtracting column G from column I. Column G from column I. You will say I minus G. All right. So now check from the calculator. Divide minus them. Minus 0.33 from 4.6. So this will look like this: minus 4.6 minus 0.033. All right. So you will get this answer. So that is called the residual. Again, see here. Here for this, 1.4 minus 0.33. All right, you will get my 1.73 answer. For this, minus 10.2 minus 7. All right, so you will get this answer 17.2. 17.2 minus 17.2. So this is how the residual column is calculated. But now, sir, we are doing all this thing. Let us, explain that how do we interpret them? That what is the main theme behind this time series analysis? Now, listen to me. I told you that if your business is not seasonal, all right, if your business is seasonal, and there are no trend into it, all right, then you use the time series analysis. Because for example, if um yeah if I talk about this quarter, the quarter 4 22, the quarter 4 of 2022, so here the variation is minus 11.2, minus 11.2. I will ask my management as a business leader that why there is the variance of negative 11.2, why? So they will tell me that, sir, the variation you are seeing, the total variation is minus 11.2. We understand this, but the variation due to the season that is out of our hand, right? It is minus 5.7. The out of total minus 11.2 variation, the minus 5.7 variation, it is due to the season, and the rest of this minus 5.5 variation, that is the negative variation, that is because of our performance, that is because of our performance and our results. So this is how the time series actually helps you to remove or separate the seasonality from the total variation, and help you to study that how much is the impact of season and how much is the impact of your own strategy and your own performance. So that is the purpose of the time series analysis. Now see the last narration, that the column G to I, column G to I, which we just talked about, the season, residual and the total. So these column represent the total variance of the quarter. All right. In column I, it was total variance. Column G represent average variance of the quarter, which is used to calculate the residual variance, which is not due to the season. See, residual that was in the column H, in the column H. This is not due to the season, right? This column G is due to the season, and column H is not due to the season, and total is I. So I hope that I was able to explain the whole time series analysis to you with the clarity, and also the narration part. I know this is a bit tricky area. I would request you to construct this time series analysis for one time just by your own, and believe me, you will remember it for the ages. See you all in the next lecture. Till then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.